as it is April Fool's Day, it means I have the chance to branch out outside my designated anime and talk about something else that I like. Since the franchise has its 20-year anniversary this year, and since it was a big part of my childhood and one of my first animes and one of the first animes that got me into weeb and fandom culture, that anime is going to be Tokyo Mew Mew. I'm not doing a fact video since that's Hika Yagami's turf. Instead, I'm going to make into a video what I posted on Amino. Today, I am going to share with you my ultimate Tokyo Mew Mew OC guide. But Kolka, when are you going to make an ultimate Hetalia OC guide? Well, today is April Fool's, isn't it? I noticed that when it comes to making a Mew Mew OC, there are surprisingly a lot of small rules. However, these rules are pretty easy to see and pretty easy to follow. From observing each Mew Mew closely, I have figured out a lot of things that not many people know that are part of a Mew Mew design. But before I begin, I know Tokyo Mew Mew OC came out after I wrote this guide, but since they are a spin-off, and it is unsure whether they are technically canon or not, they are not going to apply when it comes to mostly all of this video. So put it out of your minds for now. I'll use a couple of them as some examples later, but just put them out of your minds for now. They don't count. We are going to focus on the main series. I will talk about a teaser update later, but for now, here is my guide to create the perfect Mew Mew OC, or at least the perfect female Mew Mew OC. The name. All Mew Mews have an exact pattern in their human names. Of course, the first name is whatever the food is in Japanese. Even in the spin-off, the main female protagonist is named after food. Their last name is their color combined with another word. It's not just the Mew Mews that have this. Keiichiro, Aoyama, and Ryo have this too. Their last names are actual Japanese last names that have colors as part of the name. Or Chinese last names if you're Buling. Actually, Retesu shares a last name with her voice actor. If you want to have your team have a different theme like train stations, then go ahead. Though I find it more fun to stick with the food theme. For example, Ichigo's name is Ichigo Momomiya, translating to a strawberry peach temple. Retesu's name translates to lettuce green river. Even Purin or Buling has this trend, but her name just means yellow. Normal human appearance. All of the Mew Mew's human appearance are different from their Mew versions, not just in costume, but in hair and eye color. In battle, both their hair and eye color change to a brighter color. For example, Minto's eyes are brown and her hair is a dull blackish blue. But in Mew Mew form, she has blue eyes and a brighter blue hair color. Some have drastic changes like Ichigo, who goes from red hair and brown eyes to both being bright pink. And some have less noticeable differences like Buling, whose hair and eye colors barely change at all. The Mew Mew form. Now this is the one with a lot of small annoying rules. First is about the color. The uniform must be one solid color. You can have a secondary color for the fuzzy trim or very, very small details in the uniform, for example the shoes, but the main part of the uniform should be one solid color. The color must be at least somewhat related to your food. The color can be a bit off since pomegranates aren't purple and mint isn't blue and berries aren't white, or at least the edible ones aren't. But berries' white uniform could be because white is a combination of all colors, and berries come in all different colors. So that kind of makes sense. But at least keep the color relevant to the name somewhat. Like, for example, don't make a blueberry orange. Another hidden rule about the uniform is the symmetry. Looking at all the Mew Mew uniforms, you can see that aside from the garter, they are all symmetrical. Even the ones with the puffy skirt normally have other details that make the uniform equally balanced. The length also stops right above mid-thigh so that there can be a garter. All have the exact same stripes in the exact same places. The uniform must also have the poof sleeves, the garter, and the choker with the pendant. Each of these parts of the uniform have a fuzzy lining to them. The rest of the uniform doesn't have to have this. Also, don't be afraid to use hair accessories or give your character a different hairstyle when in Mew form. That is something that makes an OC very creative. The red data animal. Of course, the animal your character is infused with has to be an endangered animal, or endangered in whatever year you're in, Zakuro. When it comes to your animal parts, your Mew Mew can have the ears and tail, but not always. If your animal's ears and tail are not very distinct, for example, if you have a dolphin, a bird, or a reptile, use another part or style the uniform in a way that resembles your animal. For example, if it's a flying creature, then just the wings or a tail or ears will do. If the animal is aquatic, the Mew Mew uniform will have a fin-like appearance and no animal appendages at all. So many people forget this. Not all Mew Mews have animal parts. The spin-off does a great job at this. Kanda doesn't have a lizard tail or anything. He just has a forked tongue and claws, and his uniform has scales on it. Yoyogi's animal just shows in his uniform and is shaped to look like a dolphin tail. Ayato Roppongi's outfit is full of feathers, and he has a coat tail like a bird's. But the male Mew Mews seem to have outfits that are designed to look just like the animal itself, rather than following a certain food theme like the Mew Mews do. The weapon. This one is very important as it gets messed up a lot. It took me a while to realize this too. There are 2 rules. First, it must be modeled after a musical instrument. Second, it must be a pun on your character's Mew name. All weapons must also have the Mew Mark somewhere on it. Allow me to explain. Looking at all of the weapons, they are all adorable, colorful weapons that are modeled in the shape of musical instruments. They aren't supposed to look threatening with blades and stuff. They are supposed to be cute, magical items. Minto's arrow is a lyre. Sakuro's cross whip has a feature where the cross folds up, turning it into a flute. Barry's rod, or the bear rod, is a microphone. All the names are also puns. Hika Yagami does an excellent video on this. I'll put it in the description below. All of the weapons are cute and have a signature Mew heart on them. And the attack name is pretty fluid. Just feel free to do whatever here, as long as it is somewhat relevant to what the attack does. For example, Mew Mint produces an echo with her arrows, so her attack is referred to as an echo. Mew Lettuce attacks with water, so hers is Rebound Lettuce Rush, or Splash, depending on what source you're coming from. The Mew Mark. Many are confused on what the Mew Mark is supposed to be and what it really represents. A Mew Mark design is 2 of your animal, or something representing your animal, in a symmetrical design. You can see this if you look really closely. Ichigo's is 2 cats together in the shape of a heart, where you could see the whiskers on the bottom. Mints and lettuces are easy to see. Puddings is also kind of easy to see. Sakuro's is a bit harder, but Sakuro's is 2 wolves howling together on her navel. Everyone's Mew Mark is symmetrical with the rest of their body except Ichigo's and Ryo's, who are a bit different from the rest of them. And of course, if you have a situation like Ringo's where you have a Mew Aqua pendant, then you shouldn't have a Mew Mark at all. And now for the updated uniforms. In the recent update that came out in the Tokyo Mew Mew 2020 return preview, we can see that their outfits look a bit different. But they still follow a generic set of rules. First of all, they all have ribbons around their neck that are each colored with their trim color, and have a gem heart in their responding color. Next we see their trim is less fuzzy and more ribbon-like. Instead of garters, they now have ribbons. And as with time, their hairstyles naturally have changed. I think I've covered just about everything. Let me know what you think, or if I should add anything. Until then, happy April Fools and keep on studying.